Driving that train, I'm cocaine. Lacey Jones, you better watch your speed. Trouble ahead, trouble behind. And you know that notion just crossed my mind. This old engine makes it on time. Leaves Central Station at 8:45. It's River Junction 17-2. At 9:45, you know it's jumping again. Driving that train, wild cocaine. Lacey, don't you better watch your speed. Trouble ahead, trouble behind. And you know that notion just crossed my mind.
It's time for Fully Threaded Radio.
It is Fully Threaded Radio. This is the predominantly fastener-related talk show where people who are dialed into the industrial fastener industry come every month to catch up on what's relevant. We're so glad you clicked in. Eric Dudas here, and with me as always is the co-pilot of Fully Threaded Radio, broadcasting from the center of the fastener industry, that being the Chicagoland area. He's the code slinger extraordinaire and godfather of the legendary scrubber software, Brian Musker. Brian, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. I think I refer to myself as FCH West, okay? That'll be Chicago.
That's right.
And you're FCH East.
Yes, these days in the Cleveland area, and I tell you, I think it's a good spread. We've got feet in some pretty solid places. Of course, the industry is nationwide and worldwide, and we're glad to be talking to all of you folks. Thank you so much for clicking into Fully Threaded once again. Didn't want to start out on too ominous of a note with the title, Brian.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Trouble a Thread. But those of you who have been listening for a while know that we're a little bit of a couple of Grateful Dead fans over here, and we got some news about that we'll talk about at the end of the show. But they said their Fare Thee Wells played their last shows recently in Chicago. That was a little poignant moment for us, but life goes on, doesn't it?
Yeah, right. Well, who knows? It may not be the last show.
Yeah, maybe they'll be like the Doobie Brothers or the Who or whatever, right? And keep coming back.
Right, it'll be like the 10th last show.
I don't know. I have my doubts. I think this might be it, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Hey, folks, we're the people who bring you the FCH Sourcing Network. That's fastenersclearinghouse.com. Thanks to all of you who are out there on a daily basis making that the network of choice when you need to find a hard-to-find fastener inventory item, or if you're looking to sell stuff. We're just so thrilled to have you out there with us. The network is thriving, and it's because of you.
That's right. And we've gone through a couple of growing pains lately, which we've resolved now, but they're really related to the, I guess, the increased use of FCH and the fact that we've now gone over 1.25 million parts.
Yeah, and those numbers keep growing, and we are working on the infrastructure. And in the meantime, people, we do once again appreciate that you are out there using it. I think we have another wonderful show for you lined up today, everybody. The feature segment, we decided to do something a little bit different. We decided to turn the reins of the show over to two of our buddies, Andy and Gary Graham of National Threaded Fasteners. They're out of Perry, Ohio, and they took the reins of the show, and the segment is, I think, pretty good. They talk about a variety of things, the nature of the fastener industry, their perspective. They're, I think, both the so-called young fastener professionals out there, which
Right, we're the veterans, okay,
Yeah.
apparently, or heading to oblivion quickly, I suspect.
Well, we've decided to ban the word legacy from the show, but
Right.
that's a good way of putting it. So, Bri, thanks. Before that, though, we're going to have a chat with Carmen Vertullo. Most of you know him from the Fastener Training Institute. He also with the Fastener Training Minute, which will also feature on the show today. But we decided to give Carmen a little bit of time to expand on some things that are going. There were some headlines about the Bay Bridge incident that continues to be a ongoing kind of a finger-pointing exercise, I suppose. But Carmen will give us his thoughts on that coming up briefly. Again, as I said, we have the Fastener Training Minute, and of course, as always, with Mike McNulty of Fastener Tech International, it's the Fastener News Report.
Yes.
He's got some interesting things to talk about this time, so we got a great lineup.
We always do. And we have a great lineup of sponsors too.
Indeed.
The title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio are Stellfast, Trinity Hardware Headquarters, and the Lindstrom family of companies, including Titan Fasteners. Stellfast, for service you deserve and people you trust. Trinity Hardware Headquarters, for parts done right. And Lindstrom, by any measure. Also sponsoring Fully Threaded Radio are Buckeye Fasteners, Volt Industrial Plastics, Fastenal, InSequel Software, ND Industries, the Worth Group, and Solution Industries, home of Solution Man. Thanks to all of you for supporting Fastener Talk Radio, okay?
Couldn't do it without you, folks, and we couldn't do it without all of our listeners. Thank you so much. As we mentioned during our last show, the international listenership continues to increase, so welcome to all of you. Hey, before we cut to a quick commercial and get the show rolling, want to remind everybody that Fully Threaded Radio and FCH were strong supporters of the Fastener Training Institute. Once again, we're running our annual scholarship, and that will entitle the winner to 1 week of training from the Fastener Training Institute. There are several across the country that you'll be able to take your pick of, and you will come out of that with your Fastener certification. I think it's officially the Fastener Specialist, CFS.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great thing to have for the industry. And all you have to do to take advantage of that is get us an essay of 200 to 300 words about how and why taking part in this will increase your effectiveness in the industry, and send it to the email address ftr@fullythreaded.com. Deadline for that is September 30th. In case you were wondering, the entries are judged by the wonderful Sue Rice. A lot of you know her if you're an FCH member. And, of course, the lovely and talented Lynn Dempsey. They do a great job. They take it very seriously. We have some excellent entries already. But if you do not win the grand prize, which is the full week scholarship, keep in mind that you'll get a voucher for one of the Fastener Training Institute webinars. So there are no losers in this one.
No, that's right. It's great. And, the training is very, very valuable and well respected.
Right. You can't beat those credentials. As I said, get with us anytime, folks, with your entries or for any reason. The email address, ftr@fullythreaded.com. We're also out there on Twitter under the handle fullythreaded. Hope to hear from you. And we'll be back momentarily to put a wrench to this one.
Or a spanner.
Looking for package fasteners of all kinds? How about specials or unique parts that no one seems to carry? At Trinity Hardware Headquarters, we believe in parts done right, and our new catalogue is available online at trinityhardwarehq.com, featuring over 30,000 different types of fasteners available in package quantities, product kits, and assortments, including hundreds of hard-to-find parts as well as the most popular inch and metric sizes. Trinity Hardware Headquarters has locations throughout the Midwest and South, and over 400,000 square feet of warehouse space with 18 million pounds of fasteners ready to fill your requirements. Our featured products include number 3 and number 7 head plough bolts, grade 5 and grade 8 carriage bolts, hook bolts, tap bolts, and nuts and washers of all kinds, plus much more. Visit our website at www.trinityhardwarehq.com or give Trinity Hardware Headquarters a call at 888-232-1010. Trinity Hardware Headquarters, for parts done right.
How do you make the top name in packaged fasteners even better? Combine it with one of the best-known names in the fastener business. Announcing that Titan Fasteners is now a proud part of Lindstrom. For more than 50 years, the Titan name has provided distributors with experience, technical expertise, and full customer support in every package that's shipped. For fastener needs in in-plant maintenance, industrial and construction, MRO and automotive, fleet, farm, building and grounds. Available by the box, keg, or pallet. Titan means packaged fasteners, and Lindstrom means choice, flexibility, and value. And together, we now offer more than 133,000 SKUs. For value-added fastener solutions in metric or inch, turn to Lindstrom and Titan Fasteners. To learn more about Titan Fasteners, visit titanfasteners.com. Lindstrom, by any measure. To speak with a sales representative, call 1-800-789-8112.
When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stellfast. Since 1976, Stellfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stellfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stellfast today through our website at www.stellfast.com and put us to work for you. Stellfast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
This is Aaron Shushan from Specialty Sales, and you are listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Hey everybody, welcome back, Fully Threaded.
Yeah.
Also like to thank everybody for the notes that are coming in. We still keep getting them here and there related to our recent panel discussions that were held at the North Coast Fastener Association Distributor Social, and then we did a redux at Fastener Tech in Chicago, and so far everything was positive, Brian. Nobody seemed to have any...
No, it's ready to take me, line me up and shoot me, you know.
Well, I don't know if they don't want to or they just don't want to take you on, you know, but we got some nice coverage out of Global Fastener News over that, and we sure do appreciate that. He did a good job of summarizing what went on during those sessions, and it was a lot of fun to do, so thanks again for that, folks. Again, as we said at the top of the show, maybe trouble ahead, trouble behind. However, we got the FDI numbers coming up for you later in the show with Mike McNulty, and I will just give you a hint. The number has gone up for June, which is great. And those of you who have been listening, or if you were at the NFDA meeting, you heard that ITR, their analyst group, had some rather rosy outlooks for the upcoming months. And I don't know, Brian. I mean, the FCH network is jamming along. Contrasting that, you hear gloom and doom from a lot of the bears out there, and I got to tell you, some of them make a heck of a lot of sense. What do you make of all this?
Well, I don't know. You only got to look at some of the reports that came out this week, actually. You know, Apple, you know, announced its quarterly profits. Well, it's a massive profit, and it's greater than was expected. And yet their share price dropped because people are now saying, well, if it's high now, it's got to start dropping. Well, of course this is true. There's always a negative way of looking at everything, though. That's my view, okay?
That's true.
And this comes back to the thing which you have alluded to numerous times. The glass is either half full or half empty, depending on your point of view.
Right. And I guess I am a glass half full kind of guy. Otherwise, we wouldn't, frankly, be doing this. But
I would think that's right.
Yeah, but I look at other things. I mean, I'm looking at what's going on in Greece with the EU. I'm looking what's going on with this unbelievably stupid agreement that the U.S. has foisted upon itself with Iran, and we're going to have an arms race in the Mideast that scares the hell out of me, as it should out of you. And you just never know. No, ITR says we can hang on until 2029, 2030, something like that. I have my doubts. We're going to keep plugging along, and we're going to do what we can do. But my advice to everybody is just do the same. Do the best you can. Keep your eye on the future. But it's a crazy world, and I've given up trying to make sense out of it, frankly.
Now we've got a number of things turning up in the distant future. First of all is the great singularity, which probably will be a big nothing. And then in line with ITR's view that everything is going to come crashing down in 2030, I see followed up on something that you sent me, and it was relating to the fact that some group of scientists think that it's quite possible that the Earth will go into a mini ice age beginning in 2030.
Oh, well, that's indisputable. If you know anything about the way the solar system works, the Earth is going to be moving farther from the sun. I mean, it's just a fact. So
it's tied with other things though, and it's not entirely clear that their way of analysing the multiple cycles is correct. However, they said that they'll know within something like 5 years.
Right. In the meantime, keep driving your SUVs, folks. That's what I'm doing.
What, in a desperate attempt to try and keep the Earth warm?
No, in a desperate attempt to try and grab all my fishing gear in there. I mean, what do you think? I'm going to fit all that in a Volkswagen?
No, not at all.
Or a Prius?
No, you need a large vehicle for that, okay?
Anyway, we don't want to piss too many people off too early in the show. We have sworn that off. And getting back to some of your predictions that you made during the Fastener Tech and NCFA panel discussions, one of the questions that came up, trends in the industry, was the subject. We were wondering what was going to be the effect of the West Coast port slowdowns, and we discovered an interesting survey. This came to us by way of the Fastener Journal, and it's from a website called I think it's pronounced ZPOL or possibly Zepol, but probably ZPOL, I'm not sure. Anyway, in mid-July, they put out a very interesting infographic that suggests that, yes, in fact, a certain shift has taken place, and there is more traffic going to the East Coast than there had been before. This infographic says about 15% increase on the East Coast, while the West Coast is down 4%. Did you get a hold of this, Bri?
Right, I was having a look at that. Now, the reality is that the Long Beach and Los Angeles are still very large amount of stuff coming into those ports. However, the Newark, New York, is increased 12%, and the total amount of product coming into New York is now nearly the same as into Long Beach. It was considerably less last year. This is between the first 6 months of last year and this year. So the total amounts are, and the total amount coming into Los Angeles and Long Beach is still high, but they point out that largely this is driven by Chinese shippers that have decided to ship into the East Coast ports.
Right, and they also mentioned that Chinese shipments in general are down a few percentages.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of it. But one of the interesting things I thought from the article, and we alluded to this during a previous episode of the podcast, a dramatic Gulf import increase of 43% happened. So a lot of companies just decided to cut it halfway, I guess. And I heard, and I can't verify, that Walmart is largely responsible for that, and that doesn't have anything, I guess, directly to do with the industrial fastener market, other than if that's where you bring your product in. I would imagine that port space is going at a premium right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fair to say that the total deliveries into Houston are sort of small relative to Newark and Los Angeles and Long Beach, but it's had a large increase.
Yeah, good point. But if anybody's interested in looking at this, I'll put a link to the infographic we're looking at on the Fully Threaded Facebook page. Website over there is zepol.com. That's ZEPOL.com. But interesting stuff.
Oh, I mean, it's good because remember that's the exact question we've asked twice in previous interviews on Fully Threaded, as to, would this affect some of the fastener companies into how they ship their product? Would that make them ship into East Coast versus the West Coast?
Right.
General view is probably not, but clearly for someone it is.
Right. And Don Haggerty of Stelfast was, I think, pretty authoritative on that one. I mean, it's going to be cheaper to go through the West Coast in most cases.
Yeah.
Assuming you're coming in from the Far East. So, but it was definitely, I don't know, I wouldn't go quite so far as saying contrarian, but those are the numbers. And again, I'll put a link up to that on the Facebook page. Now, another contrarian piece of information that we got, this one by way of Global Fastener News. Apparently our buddies over at FMW Fasteners decided to do a survey on the subject of 3D printers as a viable option to produce fasteners and I guess other related things, and kind of some surprising results. Of course, I mean, we've been big fans of 3D, not that we're convinced it's going to take over all the grade 2 cap screw manufacturing in the world, but I mean, 60% of those surveyed said it was unlikely or very unlikely that it would have a big impact. What is that?
Well, I think it's a really poor reflection on the state of knowledge of the fastener industry, okay, of some people, okay. I think it's so patently wrong, and comments that items made out of 3D printing possibly can't be strong enough. I mean, let's be realistic. At this moment, General Electric is making the little pieces of the turbines that fit into the jet engines with 3D printing because the casting is so complex. Every single turbine and every row, the blade has got to be a different shape, and it's easier to do it. Now, are they doing every one? No, they're not. But next time you look at it, you go on a flight, look out of the window and have a look at the name on the engine. See, if you're GE, you're flying in a plane that has 3D printed parts on it, okay? Right in the turbine.
Right.
Boeing is printing, as we know, part of the spar that holds the tail wheel up on an F-14 out of 3D printed titanium. And in case you're really worried, the part of one of the mixers in the rocket engine of the SpaceX Falcon rocket engine is made by 3D printing because it's too complex to manufacture. So people worrying about 3D printed items not being strong enough have got to sit back and think. They're simply not in the right field even.
Yeah.
They've got to inform themselves better. Some of the stuff is here and in use. And remember that a 3D printer has just gone up to the space station. Actually, it's been up there for months.
Well, and it's a nascent technology as well, and people who don't see that it's going to have a huge impact just aren't looking down the road. I mean, hey, we had a kind of a similar conversation when it came to driverless vehicles and driverless delivery vehicles. I mean, this is coming. Hey, that's our view of it. You can have your own, but I don't doubt at all that FMW, their survey is a reflection of the attitude of the industry. I think a lot of people are just going to have a rude awakening one of these days. Other companies, and we've had them on the program before, Tinnerman being one of them, they are working like devils to get a jump on this. And I know there are others, but we felt it was relevant to bring it into the conversation here because we're living in a world that is changing fast.
Right, and in a world that seems to be largely misinformed, which is a bigger problem, okay?
Well, that's evident all around us. Look at our political system. You can only come away with that conclusion.
You said you weren't going to make any comments like that.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, moving along.
Moving right along. Thank you.
We do have some other cool technology developments that are in progress, and if you're an InSequel software user, not sure if you're aware of it or not, Brian and I have been doing a heck of a lot of work on the Direct Connect system, and we're using our Scrubber software as middleware, and it's a little too complex at this moment to delve into. We'll explain it a little bit more in depth at a later time, but the Scrubber's a really cool piece of software. It does some really cool things, and it's acting as a piece of middleware for Direct Connect. If you use InSequel and you are not yet familiar with what Direct Connect can do and its many benefits, I know the team over there at InSequel is working hard, and it's coming along. It's probably not where it's going to be. That's the way all good things happen, but this is a really, really cool system.
Right, and there's no question that it provides some very interesting ways of saving time and double entry of data, and it's can certainly help you with the whole process of purchasing, okay, because of the tie-ups to your main and big importers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they've got a lineup of companies that are participating in this that's second to none. I mean, Stelfast is in there, Lindstrom's in there, Metric and Multi. They've got a bunch of good companies,
Beacon,
among others.
Yep.
And there's more, but this thing is coming along, folks. So if you are an InSequel user and you're not yet using Direct Connect, get with the InSequel folks. They'll plug you in. And stay tuned for further developments because we are working hard to make sure this thing succeeds, and it's the future. That's
true. Okay.
Now there's another guy who looks down the road quite a bit. We have some disagreements on 3D also, Bri.
Oh God, don't tell me about another one.
Yeah, well, we had a few drinks over this one at a point a couple of months back, but this guy is a guy that everybody knows. He's Carmen Vertullo. He knows a lot about fasteners. I had a conversation with him, and we're going to take a very short break, and then we will play that conversation. And I think you'll all find it very interesting. Thanks for listening, everybody. It's Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric, your online Fastener Talk Radio brothers in thread. Fully Threaded Radio.
Harry, how's your search for new software going?
We've looked at a lot of systems. Some were the same old technology, and others didn't seem like they knew much about what we did or needed. We did look at one company, crazy name though, I think it was InSequel.
You mean INXSQL? That's InSequel. That's what we use. We've become much more efficient, and we've been able to offer our customers more services, which makes us more competitive.
Yeah, Inkswell, that's the one. They seem to be the only company that really understood what fastener distributors do for a living, and I found it easy to use.
Harry, it's InSequel, INXSQL. You don't pronounce the X. We buy a lot from several master distributors, and their Direct Connect simplifies the whole process. When we need pricing and availability quickly, we just hit the F12 key.
If you don't pronounce the X, why put it in there? A friend told me they get great support from NXQuell.
Yes, with InSequel, our experience has been the same. Quality support. They know our business. And the best part is, no extra charges. With our old system, apparently nothing we called about was covered by support.
You know, Inkwell seems to be the right company for us.
They're called InSequel, INXSQL. Go to their website, www.inxsql.com, or call them at 877-446-9775.
The world is changing, and if you're not taking a close look at the thriving market in Latin America, rest assured your competitors certainly are. Hi, it's Lynn Dempsey, inviting you to take advantage of one of the most exciting new fastener trade shows to hit the market in many years. Fastener Fair Mexico 2016 will take place on June 1st and 2nd, 2016, and there will be over 2,000 attendees looking to make new contacts from Latin America and North America. Don't miss out. Fastener Fair Mexico is produced by Mack Brooks Exhibitions, the leader in international fastener shows and organizers of the Fastener Fair in Stuttgart. This will be the second edition of the Fastener Fair Mexico, and as the only dedicated fastener event in Mexico, it is bound to be a huge success once again. Fastener Fair Mexico is the perfect opportunity to grow your business by reaching new contacts and partners from Mexico, Latin America, and beyond. Whether your business is focused on automotive, construction, electronic and electrical, petroleum, mining, or consumer durables and household appliances, Fastener Fair Mexico is where you need to be. Mack Brooks invites distributors from across North America to attend this exciting show, which will take place at the World Trade Center in Mexico City. For details, please visit our website at www.fastenerfair.com/Mexico. Once again, that website is www.fastenerfair.com/Mexico. See you in Mexico City, and bienvenidos to the North American fastener industry.
I don't have time to look for the best price for a socket head cap screw zinc plated with a patch.
Solution Man can. Let me handle all of your secondary processes, and I'll even ship the finished product. One price, one purchase order, one invoice, and one shipment equals one solution. Visit the Solution Industries website for details at solutionind.com.
Solution Man, you're my primary source for secondary processes.
Good one.
Hey, this is Clayton Allen from Buckeye Fasteners in Cleveland, Ohio, and you're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Well, Fully Threaded listeners are always used to hearing now the Fastener Training Minute with Carmen Vertullo. He, of course, of Carver Consulting and the Fastener Training Institute. I thought it might be a smart thing to get him on the show for an extended conversation because, gosh, he's got so much to say about so many topics. And I was recently reading on Global Fastener News that there was some weirdness going on with the Bay Bridge story again, and who better to talk to than Carmen Vertullo? We'll talk to him about that right now, and hopefully a few other subjects. Carmen, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
I'm good, Eric. Thanks for talking to me. I have to say at the outset, I can think of at least 6 other people that might be better to talk to about the Bay Bridge, but I'm very interested in it, and I'm happy to throw my 2 cents at your listeners.
Well, you're one of those humble guys. I know this because at several Pac West events, we've had the opportunity to debate things like additive manufacturing, and we have varying ideas about whether that's going to lead the world and the fastener world specifically. And you're a great guy to have a drink with, but you're also a guy who knows a lot about fasteners. So what's going on currently, in your estimation? What was this a sensational headline where the Bay Bridge would need to be restarted? I mean, I had to ask you, what's going on?
Well, I didn't read that as a headline, but I did read it at the end of a maybe San Francisco Chronicle article where someone had said maybe they're going to decide they need to tear this bridge down and start over. I'm paraphrasing or something like that. And that is not going to happen. Most folks are aware of the situation with the Bay Bridge, but let me give a quick 2-minute recap if that's okay. Back in 2013, they had some issues with some very large bolts. Actually, they're studs or steel rods, tension rods, made to a specification ASTM A354 grade BD. They're high strength, large diameters, 3 to 4 inches, very long, 20 to 30 feet long. And these were installed many years ago, 5 years previous. sitting there for some amount of time. Finally, they get around to tensioning them and they break. Big news, what's going on with the Bay Bridge. Some of our well-known folks in the industry consulted on this. My good friend and colleague Salim Brahimi was one of them, did some excellent work to diagnose the problem as being hydrogen embrittlement.
Oh yeah, that really got my blood boiling, man.
Well, that comes up in every conversation, it seems. If the bolt breaks as hydrogen embrittlement, in this case, I think everyone agrees that was the cause. But now, did it happen because the product was not good from the manufacturer? We all know that they were made by Dyson. Was it the fault of the folks who put the hot dip galvanizing on the product? Was it an applications issue? Was it an engineering issue? What is the real fault of this? So we'll get back to that in a minute.
Yeah, there was all kind of finger pointing, wasn't there?
And continues to be all kinds of finger pointing. My personal opinion, and I don't know if it's worth what you're paying for it right now or not, but is it's an engineering problem. Any reasonable amount of engineering oversight at the beginning of this process, for example, any product, whether it's a bridge or a battleship or bicycle, if somebody from an engineering perspective does an analysis on the fastening in that product, you have a pretty good chance you're going to discover if there is some kind of an issue that's high risk. And this would have certainly been discovered, maybe even had been discovered, but either overlooked or decided to move forward before this product was ever used in the bridge. So we have a combination of three things, or four, maybe a perfect storm, where we're using susceptible material. Actually, material that should not be susceptible. Let me rephrase that. A354 grade BD, high-strength steel rods at their proper level of hardness. It would be debatable about whether or not they're susceptible to hydrogen embrittlement, and some folks would say they're not. Obviously, in this case, they were. The product was not the best product, and did it meet the specification or not? That's arguable. Some folks would say it definitely did. Some say it would be marginal. Caltrans knew it was marginal, or whoever it was that made the decision to use it and used it anyway. So we end up with a failure, and we end up with a large bill for that in order to do some retrofit work to the bridge to make it safe. And we move on. Now, a couple of years later, we discover we have some other unrelated failures in another part of the bridge. I'm not going to give you the anatomy of the bridge. That would take too long.
Now, hang on. When you say that, is this related to what you just described, or is this a completely separate fastener-related issue?
I would say both. It is related, and there is some separate issues going on.
Wow. Okay.
The first issue had to do with tension rods that were at the top of the pier that hold the bridge down to the pier, in a thing called a saddle. It's designed to give the bridge the ability to have some movement in case of an earthquake. These latest failures are at the base of that pier and some other places where we have some issues with salt water leaking into the pier, causing some corrosion. And not only are we concerned about failures that have occurred, we're concerned about going forward many years into the future, what will happen. These high-tension steel rods, high-strength steel rods, need to be protected from water getting into them, and they're supposed to be grouted in a certain way. And the question is, were they properly grouted? Well, there's no question about that. They obviously were not, or they would not have been exposed to water. And whose fault is that? I know on construction projects that I've been exposed to, anything that's critical always gets some kind of an inspection by people who know what they're looking at. Was this properly inspected? Was it properly signed off on? And at the bottom of the issue, I think, is, does the public have after spending $6 billion plus on a $1.2 billion bridge, does the public have a sense of safety about this thing or not? And the bottom line is it's going to be very hard to know that for the average person. It's going to be controversial.
When is that going to be known, do you figure, if you had to guess?
After we have the first earthquake.
Okay, so we don't know. Now, can I ask you? Let me ask you this, Carmen. I mean, in all seriousness, would it have been better just to build a thing out of an enormous quantity of duct tape?
It might have been better to build it out of an enormous quantity of concrete. I don't know. No, I don't know. You know, one of the things, look at the Golden Gate Bridge. Now, it's a completely different circumstance. You know, it's built in a different place. The geology is different there. It's a different kind of bridge. But obviously, we were able to build large, safe bridges quite some time ago. They have some challenges here. I know apparently bedrock is very deep in this area, so this bridge could not have used certain types of technologies, maybe. But in this case, we spent an awful lot of money for a bridge that sadly could, you know, be questioned by the public in terms of its safety. Personally, I think the bridge is safe and it's always going to be safe. I think it's incredibly overbuilt. I think one of the things they could have done in the analysis of this, maybe, not being a bridge engineer, so I'm talking out the wrong end of my body here, but is maybe they could have simply said, you know, this bridge has a 10-to-1 safety factor. Because of this incident, we're now going to rate it at a 6-to-1 safety factor, but it's still perfectly fine.
Got it.
It might have been an approach that back then wouldn't work, but maybe all things being considered, it might work now.
Got it. Well, we're going to keep you on tap, I hope, if you'll abide us, and hopefully you'll keep us advised on that. But that was quite a shocking headline that I saw there, and hopefully everything's progressing there. What else do you see in the fastener world that's going on from your perspective? I mean, you're a technical guy. You're out there with the Fastener Training Institute all the time. What is, in your estimation, the headline that we should be thinking about?
Well, one might be, we just, I don't know if it's aired yet on your program or it's going to come later in the Fastener Training Minute. I talk a little bit about salt spray testing, and, you know, we are seeing some issues with coatings and salt spray testing that suppliers are running into in terms of taking great unnecessary risks in being responsible for the salt spray performance of a product well after it has been plated. So I think we're going to need to see some cleanup there. We've got some brand new structural bolt specifications, a new spec called ASTM F3125 that is takes all of the existing structural bolt standards and boils them into one spec. I think they've done a lot of work on that standard, and it's something that needs to be taught now. So we should be seeing that in some of our Fastener Training Institute programs. One of the things that I find remarkable is we've got a really good young group of young people involved at the ASTM F16 committee.
You mean like under 50?
I mean, like, yeah, that's what I mean. Maybe even some under 40. And they're engaged and aggressive and interested, and so we get to see action a lot faster. Specifications and standards typically are a 5 to 10 year cycle, but from the time you think of them to the time you end up with something you can use, and these guys are getting it done a lot faster and responding to the needs of the user community and the supplier and manufacturing community in generating new standards. We got some exciting new standards in super high strength structural bolting, as well as some medium strength and high strength structural bolting that is kind of a cross between the breakaway tension control bolts and the standard structural bolts. So exciting things. And I would say to anyone who is interested, if you're listening to this program, you're probably qualified. Get involved in some of the standards committees. There's plenty of work to be done, even if you don't get involved. Showing up to the meetings and learning what's going on. Some of the smartest people in our business are there at these meetings, and it's fascinating to listen to them debate sometimes and discuss and come up with these changes to the standards and how they get justified and voted on and eventually end up in a standard that impacts all of us in terms of the costs of our product.
That is great advice, Carmen Vertullo. You are, of course, of Carver Consulting and the Fastener Training Institute. And again, I'll say that's great advice. And that applies to if you're talking about fasteners or if you're trying to change the United States government, which is going off a cliff on a local level. That's where you guys need to be participating. Got to insert that. Sorry, Carm. I mean, it's part of the predominantly fastener-related part of it. But I will say this. We are right now looking at a variety of changes. We had a couple of big events coming up. We had a couple of big events that came up earlier in the season where I had the great opportunity of participating in some panel discussions. I wanted to get your input on a comment that was made by a gentleman by the name, I know you're familiar with him, Bob Bear of Abbott Interfast. It was incorrectly attributed to somebody else, but Bob came up with this comment. He said one of his dream lists for the 5 to 10 year outlook would be, what if we could unify the metric and inch standard? And I think that's something that's probably going to get you pretty excited. What could you talk about on that subject?
Well, I know Bob, and I absolutely know where the pain comes from in that comment. It is a confusing world for us in the fastener industry with inch and metric standards, and there are lots of efforts being made in the ASTM world to combine inch and metric into the same standard. One of the standards I just spoke about, F3125, it's F3125 has inch and metric product in it.
I got to admit, that is one of the really coolest standards.
And some standards. Have you read it? No. Some standards do a good job of that, but one of the reasons that I think Bob makes a good point is the fact of the matter is that the metric system in almost every respect is superior to the inch system. And for example, we have coarse threads and fine threads. We have, in the metric world, we have a standard thread, which is called the coarse thread. It's optimized for both strength and assemblability, whereas inch, coarse threads, and fine threads, each is not optimal for either. So, for example, if we had to do it over again, I think we would not have quarter 20 and quarter 28. We would have quarter 24, that kind of thing. But that is not going to happen. So we're kind of stuck with what we have. I don't think we are ever going to be able to wipe the slate clean and start with something new. And I think that's really what Bob would like to see, is instead of having inch and metric, have something which probably would be metric that we could all standardize on and not have so much messy specification issue to deal with. It is the way it is. I don't think it could happen in 5 to 10 years. That's for sure. But because the specification birthing and getting a spec into general commerce takes about that long. But our new committee guys probably are going to maybe speed that up a little bit. Who knows? It would be a heck of a task to do it for a couple of people, committees to come together and say, how can we boil this down and not have so much to work with? He hits on a good point. To be honest with you, I would not hold my breath waiting for that to happen, though.
Well, we can always dream. Well, we can always dream.
Okay. I'm dreaming. I'm going into dreamland here. I'm just thinking about it. Yeah.
And Bob Bear is one of the smarter guys in the industry, and so are you, Carmen Vertullo, and I appreciate you so much sharing your views on all of that. We're going to hear from you later in the broadcast, of course, on the Fastener Training Minute. You're doing great work over there at the Fastener Training Institute. We sure do appreciate that, and gosh, it was good to talk to you. I hope you'll come back and join us again.
Before you kick me out,
Yep.
just let me throw one more thing out there about the whole Bay Bridge thing. Is everybody's comments taken in and out of context are criticized. In my comments, I don't necessarily want to call anybody out. Just let me say one thing about Caltrans. I drive on the stuff they build every day. They do amazing work in the state of California. Somehow they managed to build a freeway right through one that's already existing and keep the traffic flowing most of the time. For those folks that, suffer in too much traffic, they probably disagree with me, but, we have an amazing freeway system in this state, thanks to some really good folks at Caltrans. So I just want to make sure that's clear.
Great point. And it's true. I don't get out to California that much, but my brother does live out there, and he's a civil engineer, and I think he would agree with everything you just said. Carmen Vertullo, Carver Consulting, thank you once again. We will talk to you in the very near future. Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric, they're online. Fastener Talk Radio Extremist. You're right on with Fully Threaded Radio.
You probably know that Lindstrom is an industry leader in metric fasteners. And there's a good chance you know we recently expanded to provide a wide range of high-grade inch fasteners. But what you probably don't know is that Lindstrom has made a serious commitment to earn your socket business. How serious? Well, let's start with 11,000 products. Announcing Lindstrom's expanded line of socket products, including socket head cap screws, flat head socket cap screws, button head socket cap screws, socket shoulder screws, and more. Plain, plated, or patched, in a full range of inch and metric sizes. Special lengths and thread pitches available through in-house fabrication. Always packed to your specification. Lindstrom. Flexibility, choice, and value at every turn. Here for everything distributors need. To learn more about Lindstrom and our expanded line of socket products, visit LindstromSockets.com. Lindstrom, by any measure. To speak with a sales representative, call 1-800-328-2430.
First, there was fire, and man said, "Fire good." Then there was the wheel, and man said, "Wheel good." With the invention of the wheel came the need for fasteners, and man loudly exclaimed, "Buckeye good." Buckeye Fasteners, providing quality products since the dawn of man. The preceding message was brought to you by Buckeye Fasteners and the Ohio Nut and Bolt Company, proud Fastener Show sponsors of Old Rusty Bolt Beer, official beer of the Traveling Salesman. Tell them Grog sent you. Ugh.
Hi everyone, it's Brian Musker. If you're listening to Fully Threaded, then you're no doubt aware of the FCH sourcing network found at fastenersclearinghouse.com. You've probably also heard about our legendary scrubber software that makes listing your inventory on FCH a snap. But have you heard about the new FCH SmartLink interface? With SmartLink, users of Business Edge, InSequel, and Distribution One have a new weapon in the war against excess inventory, because each of these platforms now links directly to the FCH scrubber system through an automated interface. The best part is that this new tool is available at no additional charge to FCH members who use Business Edge, InSequel, or Distribution One. With SmartLink, you can keep your inventory listings up to date with the click of a button, so it's a win-win for all FCH users. The new FCH FastLink interface is really big news, and we'll be thrilled to have your company using it. Business Edge, InSequel, and Distribution One users should contact their software provider for details, or just call me, Brian Musker. You can reach me through the FCH website at www.fastenersclearinghouse.com. That's fasteners with an S. and the S is for scrubber.
Hi, this is Vic from the Cambridge Corporation at the 31st Annual Midwest Fastener Show, and I listen to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric back with you on the online fastener zeitgeist that's sweeping the industry.
Well, you might need to explain that word, okay?
Our listeners are very well aware of what that means, and if not, then they're curious enough to go and get out their thesaurus. Or is it thesauri?
Or just thesaurus.
Speaking of sweeping the industry, we got a press release from Mark Strandquist, he the honcho here at the North American Worth Group. Seems they've made another acquisition, all part of the plan.
Right, yeah, he was telling us he had something floating along pretty close.
That's right, and a lot of people were sniffing this out. Well, the press release came out, and Worth Group has acquired Northern Safety and Industrial. Now, they are a company with over 500 employees across 18 locations. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to fit that into the Worth Industry North America group, but I'm sure they have their designs on it. But congratulations to Worth on continuing with their strategy. That was great news to hear.
Right, yep.
Details are on the Worth Group website, but congratulations again.
I guess that goes closer to the general overall supply of industrial fasteners moving into industrial hardware, actually.
Yeah, good point. It's a mosh pit.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's just that, most fastener companies have sort of found that they have to supply all sorts of things, not only just nuts and bolts and washers and things.
Some have, and some have stayed in their niches, but Worth Group is definitely on the road to expansion. Mike McNulty will have an interesting comment about the Worth Group, kind of non-directly fastener-related, or predominantly fastener-related, but stay tuned for the Fastener News Report coming up momentarily with him. And another company that is a great supporter and advocate of FTR is Fastenal. And there was a huge headline that came out right after we recorded with Mike McNulty, so it didn't make it to the Fastener News Report. Wanted to share it with everyone. This one, I think, was widely available across all the usual outlets. And the headline was, Fastenal reappoints Oberton as CEO.
Oh, goodness. Interesting.
That's right. Now, they have had their challenges over there at Fastenal. They do great work, and they're a great company in many, many ways. But they're realigning. Hey, in today's day and age, if McDonald's is serving breakfast quiche, I mean...
I thought you were going to say breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah, well, I heard they're even offering silverware now, which is unheard of. Companies
How do they stop it all being thrown away?
Well, they probably don't. But, companies are changing. I mean, people are shifting around, and Fastenal is no exception. Detail here, effective July 20th, Lee Hine has stepped down into the role of COO, while Will Olberton has reassumed his role as president and CEO. I would really like to get one of the Fastenal guys on the show in the near future to talk about that a little bit more. Again, they're great supporters of the network and of FTR. We appreciate it so much, and they work real hard. They sell a lot of fasteners, folks. They're a huge part of the business. Speaking of sponsors of the show, I'd like to just shout out once again all the title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio, and they are Stelfast, Lindstrom, and Trinity Hardware Headquarters. Couldn't do it without you guys. Hey, one last item, Bri, before we go to Mike McNulty in the Fastener News Report. The All-American Fastener Show is coming up in Nashville. That's September 9th and 10th. Hope a lot of you are going to be heading out there. I know, Bri, you're all set to go.
Yep, I am.
The golf outing is on the 9th, and we'll have Heidi Voltrauer, who's organizing the whole thing, on the next episode of FTR. For more information on that and to get everybody juiced up, she has a huge party the night before. I mean, she does it right. So if there's any doubt in your mind about heading to the All-American Fastener Show, remove it. Get out there.
Right.
Nashville's a great city. Website for that, allamericanfastenershow.com.
Yeah, I haven't been to Nashville for a while, actually. It'll be fun.
Thanks for listening to Fully Threaded Radio, everybody. We really appreciate you tuning in, and we hope that you'll tell your friends about FTR. It's a easy thing to listen to. You can do it on your mobile device while you're traveling, while you're in the car, while you're on the plane, or just stream it while you're taking your lunch break, or play it over the warehouse speakers. Has been done in a few places, which is awesome.
Right. Now, if you've got an iPhone, there's a different podcast app. It's been sort of rewritten. Actually, it was rewritten a while ago, but it actually works easier now. Okay. It's easier to load them up. It's easier to select how to play them. There's a lot more controls in it. So it's taken Apple years to redo it, but it's good now.
Yeah, they keep shifting it around, but it seems to work pretty well now. But especially to all you guys playing it in the warehouse, hey man, all you guys jamming away out there, we appreciate you listening. Send us pictures of you and your facial hair. Maybe we'll put them up there.
Now, you may be collecting those pictures, Eric. That wasn't my idea, okay?
Well, we got a couple of good ones from Solution the other day, but what can I tell you? I get cheap thrills in life.
I can tell that.
And now, to a guy who's ever focused on the fastener industry and the news associated with it, Mr. Mike McNulty with the Fastener News Report.
Right.
Thanks, Eric and Brian. This is Mike McNulty from Fastener Technology International Magazine, bringing you the Fastener News Report, which is sponsored today by Volt Industrial Plastics, makers of the world's finest plastic fasteners. The climate here in Ohio keeps on changing, and I think that we are getting California's share of rain by mistake. I'm not concerned because I understand that lots of smart scientists and lobbyists have plans to regulate the weather and distribute precipitation around the country. This means that I am free to focus on the fastener industry and deliver today's Fastener News Report. In today's report, we're going to reveal the June results of the Fastener Distributor Index, also known as the FDI. We also have newsmaker headlines from Herndon Products, MS Inserts and Fasteners, Thread Kits Company, Victory Fasteners, Screw Products, the Fastener Training Institute, the United States International Trade Commission, the Young Fastener Professionals, and the Fastener Industry Coalition. On the back page report, we're going to talk about greed in the fastener industry and beyond. We will get to all of that and the FDI results for June right after this.
Whether you need a small or large number of fasteners, there is no reason why you should have to sacrifice quality or service for that matter. Volt Industrial Plastics takes great care with each and every order to ensure you receive a quality fastener in a timely and affordable manner. Our state-of-the-art production equipment allows us to produce any quantity you request quickly and efficiently. And with same-day shipping on nearly 1 million in-stock fasteners, we carry an inventory so you don't have to. Visit us online at voltplastics.com to find out more about our quality American-made products. Volt Industrial Plastics, manufacturer of the finest plastic fasteners in the world.
Since 1905, Buckeye Fasteners and the Ohio Nut and Bolt Company have been supplying the world with high-quality fasteners. Our standard product lines include weld fasteners, braided weld screws, leg levelers, self-clinching hardware, clevis pins, rivet nuts, and various other fastener lines, allowing us to support virtually all types of industries. We have complete custom manufacturing capabilities in low carbon, medium carbon, and stainless steel materials, and our quality systems are registered to ISO standards. Our on-staff engineering department can assist you with product development and provide total technical support. Our knowledgeable sales team members offer superior customer service and are here to answer any questions you may have regarding our products. Having a hard time finding a part? Let our sourcing specialists do the work for you to locate those items. We offer competitive pricing with typically smaller minimums and shorter lead times. To find out more about Buckeye Fasteners, please call us at 800-437-1689 or on the web at buckeyefasteners.com. Buckeye Fasteners, more than just weld.
I need 5,000 3/4, 10 by 9 and 3/4 grade 8 zinc yellow tap bolts right away, but they're not a standard size.
Solution Man can. I carry a wide variety of sizes, and I can quickly cut them to any length. See Solution Industries' website for details at solutionind.com.
Using your bare hands?
I do use a saw in smaller parts, actually.
You're listening to Mike McNulty's Fastener News Report on Fully Threaded Radio.
In June 2015, the FDI reading was 52.8, a jump compared to last month's result of 51.0. Fastener Distributor Index data is collected and analyzed by the FCH Sourcing Network and the National Fastener Distributors Association, and it seeks to identify demand, pricing, and outlook trends within the American fastener industry. And this month, Eric Dudas has some exciting announcements about the future of the FDI.
Hey everybody, Eric Dudas here. This month's FDI report will be short and sweet. As Mike McNulty mentioned, the FDI for June was up to 52.8, and that was a tick up from May, where we had 51.0. So things are looking good. Hopefully they'll keep moving in that direction for the fastener industry. The Fastener Distributor Index has been going through some changes, as a lot of you know, and we have some exciting news, I think, to report, and that is that we have reunited with BB&T Capital Markets. They're going to be working with us again. Our original analyst for the FDI was Holden Lewis. He left BB&T, and he helped us out a lot, and he was just really good at it. And we've got a team now at BB&T, along with folks from the NFDA who are going to be working together, and we're going to embellish the report that comes out each month. Hopefully it'll be something like what Holden used to produce or better. We've got some input from, I think, some pretty smart and excited people about it. So we've got, 4 years of data now, and hopefully this is only going to get bigger and better as time goes on. The FDI once again did hit 52.8 in June. We thank the NFDA for all of their help in moving this all along, starting in the July number. So we'll report that in August. We'll have a different format for the monthly FDI report, both in PDF form, which we mail out to all FDI participants, and on the podcast. So please stay tuned for that. Hope you find it kind of exciting. I'd also very much like to invite every one of you who is not participating in the FDI to do so. It's a very simple survey to take. It's about 90 seconds at the most on a monthly basis. The more data we have, the better, and it keeps growing, and we're going to drive this thing. So please get out to the website, www.fdisurvey.com, fill out the profile, and we'll shoot you an email each month and let you know when it's time to enter your data. Again, it's about 90 seconds, so no pain. This has been the FDI report for June, reporting in July, but the number for June was 52.8. Thanks for listening. Back to you, Mike.
Next up, today's Fastener Newsmaker headlines. Herndon Products, based in O'Fallon, Missouri, has acquired MS Inserts and Fasteners Corporation and the Thread Kits Company. The purchase includes 32,000 square feet of warehouse capacity in Torrance, California, Billerica, Massachusetts, and Sedona, Arizona, all of which will operate under the Herndon Products name going forward. UK-based Victory Fasteners has doubled the size of its headquarters. The expansion comes just 2.5 years after the company was set up by Vic Wattison and Alan Stennett. The firm, which already exports fasteners to 65 countries, is eyeing future growth. Rick Pulley has joined Screw Products Incorporated, based in Gig Harbor, Washington, as Vice President of Sales. Prior to joining Screw Products, Rick spent more than 14 years in construction specialty fastening with Illinois Tool Works. The Fastener Training Institute added Jim Speck to its list of acknowledged industry experts, and he will be providing training services. Speck's 30-year fastener career includes stints with Holochrome, Crescent Manufacturing, and the Johnson Gauge Company. He is a licensed professional engineer, and he has presented many workshops and seminars on fastener fundamentals, fastener applications, and screw thread technology. He is the author of numerous fastener publications, and he will be presenting a webinar at the end of July called Thread Fit Matters. The United States International Trade Commission has determined that the USA is materially injured by imports of certain steel nails from Korea, Malaysia, Oman, Taiwan, and Vietnam. The Commission concludes that all these countries have been dumping nails into the USA at below fair market value prices, and that the Vietnam government has subsidized the export of its nails to the United States. The U.S. Department of Commerce will issue relevant duty orders in a July 27th report. And our top Fastener Newsmaker headline is that the Young Fastener Professionals and the Fastener Industry Coalition have announced the second annual National 30 Under 30 program. Recipients of the 30 Under 30 honors are leaders who are driven, motivated, and passionate about their job and the future of the fastener industry. This peer-nominated program highlights the accomplishments and feats of people 30 years and younger that are working in the fastener industry. To nominate a colleague, customer, or friend, visit www.youngfastenerprofessionals.com. Now stay tuned for our Fastener Industry Coalition news summary delivered by FIC board member Jay Minichino of BMB Fasteners.
Hello everyone, I'm Jay Minichino and welcome to the Fastener Industry Coalition's Association News for July. The FIC is excited to support National Manufacturing Day on October 2nd, 2015 as an event that is very important to the continued growth of our industry. In the U.S., manufacturing is making a resurgence, and this event is a chance for us to highlight the importance of domestic manufacturing from within the fastener industry. For more information on how to plan or be part of an event, please visit their website at www.mfgday.com and keep an eye out for additional information to follow in the upcoming months from your regional or national associations. Metropolitan Fastener Distributors Association. The MFDA recently hosted their 36th annual Scholarship Awards Dinner, awarding $18,500 to 15 students of children of member companies. September 19th will be a pre-golf cocktail party and the outing to follow on the 20th at Wild Turkey Golf Resort in Hardyston, New Jersey. For more information, please visit their website at www.mfda.us. Midwest Fastener Association. The MWFA wants to thank everyone for their support of Fastener Tech 2015. They will host an intermediate fastener seminar on September 17th, and scholarship applications are due by September 15th. For more information, please visit their website at www.mwfa.net. North Coast Fastener Association. The NCFA will host a night at the ballpark on August 13th with the Cleveland Indians taking on the New York Yankees. They will also host the NCFA Screw Open on September 10th at Valley Air. For more information, please visit their website at www.ncfa.com. New England Fastener Distributors Association. The NEFDA hosted their 27th annual golf outing to raise money for their scholarship fund. They will also host their 5th tabletop show on September 16th at the Foxwoods Resort Casino located in Connecticut. For more information, please visit their website at www.nefda.com. PacWest. PacWest hosted a dinner meeting in June where Carmen Vertullo moderated a panel of plating and coating experts. Come out and join them at Los Alamitos Racetrack on August 7th for a fun night at the races. For more information on any events, please visit their website at www.pac-west.org. Southeast Fastener Association. SEVA will conduct a Fastener Basics Seminar September 2nd and 3rd in the Atlanta area. For more information, please visit their website at www.thecefa.com. Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is pleased to announce its newest board member, Carrie Ann King of EDSCO Fasteners. For more information on any of their events, please visit their website at www.fastenerwomen.com. Please come out and support these and other great events hosted by your regional or local associations. This has been the Fastener Industry Coalition Association News, bringing the industry together, one fastener at a time.
Finally, let's turn to the back page to talk about greed in the fastener industry and beyond. Greed is defined as the inordinate desire to possess wealth, goods, or objects for one's own self, far beyond what is needed for basic survival and comfort. Greed is also applied to a markedly high desire for and the pursuit of wealth, status, and power. Untempered greed leads to crimes against others, and the fastener industry is not immune. Last month, 50-year-old Marcus Worth, son of Reinhold Worth, the chairman of the Worth Group, was kidnapped and held overnight after being taken from a home for people with mental disorders in Schlitz, Germany. The kidnappers reportedly demanded more than 2 million euros for his return. The Worth family called the police to report Marcus missing when he didn't show up for lunch on June 8th. Police then began an intensive manhunt involving 40 police officers, 50 firefighters, and several sniffer dogs. The perpetrators lost their nerve under the police reaction and tied Marcus to a tree before leaving his location in GPS coordinates and then fleeing the scene. Marcus was reunited with his family on June 9th. Known locally as the Screw King, Reinhold Worth took over the family business at the age of 19 after his father had passed away. He turned the former two-man business into a worldwide fastener trading group, which now consists of over 400 companies in more than 80 countries with 67,000 employees and annual sales in excess of 10 billion euros. The story has a good ending, I think, due to two things: the strong reaction of law enforcement and the slow developing scruples of the criminals. Greed causes damage when these two components are missing, as they are for the greasy corporatism and the crony capitalism that is being practiced and mastered in political capitals and boardrooms across the world. Without aggressive investigation and counteracting virtue, greed and its fruits become the new normal. This has been Mike McNulty of Fastener Technology International, bringing you the Fastener News Report. Remember to send your news, pictures, comments, corrections, or complaints to me at McNulty@FastenerTech.com.
Next up, we turn things over to Andy and Gary Graham of National Threaded Products. I think you'll find it quite interesting. It's fully threaded. When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stellfast. Since 1976, Stellfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stellfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stellfast today through our website at www.stellfast.com and put us to work for you. Stellfast. Service you deserve, people you trust. ND Industries has been solving customers' toughest problems through innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service since 1955. A family-owned business, ND Industries manufactures and applies fastener locking, bonding, sealing, masking, and assembling products. Their pre-application process makes fasteners ready to use at the point of assembly, resulting in reduced labor costs, time savings, and superior quality assurance. As a fully integrated company, ND handles all aspects of operations, from formulating custom chemical compounds and coating fasteners to providing inline inspection, packaging, and delivery services. ND Industries serves the global market with 13 divisions in the continental U.S. and also facilities in Taiwan, China, and Turkey. Learn more about ND Industries at our website at www.ndindustries.com. ND Industries. Innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service. Contact ND today.
Hi, everybody. This is Carmen Vertullo with Carver Consulting and the Fastener Training Institute, bringing you the Fastener Training Minute. I was recently asked to do a panel discussion at the PacWest dinner meeting here in Southern California, and the topic had to do with electroplating and coating and the risks that the suppliers take when they engage in this kind of business decision. It was a panel discussion with questions from the attendees, and we had a really interesting question regarding salt spray testing that got everyone's attention, and lots of learning went on. I'm going to come back in a minute and tell you what we discussed about salt spray testing and why fastener suppliers, especially those that import plated product, should be aware of salt spray testing requirements and their implications for fastener suppliers. We'll be back in a minute to talk about that.
Thanks, Carmen. This is John Walkman for the Fastener Training Institute. FTI is growing, and we're pleased to announce that Jim Speck has joined our team of recognized fastener industry experts who present our programs. He is a licensed professional engineer with over 30 years fastener industry experience. Jim has presented numerous workshops and seminars on fastener fundamentals, fastener applications, and screw thread technology. He is the author of many key publications, including his textbook, Mechanical Fastening, Joining, and Assembly, the second edition of which was recently published. Jim resides in Connecticut and will expand our reach to the East Coast and support our planned growth for 2016. We'll introduce Jim to our expanding webinar following on July 30th. He will present our 2015 Thread Fit Matters webinar. Understanding the nature of screw threads and fits is the basis for all things fasteners. Please be sure to sign up for this very informative and important webinar. Our webinar schedule through the first quarter of 2016 is now posted on our website. We're looking for sponsors, so we encourage fastener suppliers and manufacturers to check out the list as sponsorships are limited. Our July Fastener Training Week class in Cleveland is full. New registrants will be offered seats in our November class, also to be held in Cleveland. These week-long training classes have become one of our most popular events. They are taught by three of our industry's most experienced and knowledgeable trainers, Carmen Vertullo, Salim Brahimi, and Lawrence Klaus. On August 18th, Carmen Vertullo will present our Dimensional and Material Specification class in La Mirada, California. This is a CFS class and provides educational credit towards our CFS certification. Lastly, on August 21st, Carmen will offer another new webinar covering socket screw products. There's more to know about sockets than the internal drive. Sign up now and learn more about these very popular and unique fasteners. Please visit our website, fastenertraining.org, to see our complete schedule with class and registration details. Now back to Carmen for our Fastener Training Minute.
Well, I'm back again. This is Carmen Vertullo with the Fastener Training Minute. At our recent PacWest dinner meeting on plating, a question was asked regarding salt spray testing, and it went something like this. A supplier had recently imported a large quantity, container loads, of zinc-plated product, and the product was subsequently salt spray tested by the importer's customer and failed the salt spray test. And, of course, the implication was now the importer or supplier was stuck with the product. Salt spray testing is required as a qualification test for example, ASTM F1941 zinc-plated product. And sometimes it is required on a purchase order or in the contract for product. But salt spray testing by ASTM B117 is generally designed as a qualification for a particular process, not necessarily as a requirement for a particular lot of product that is being produced. One of the requirements of F1941, the zinc plating spec, is that when this test is conducted, it's conducted 24 hours after the product has been plated. It actually says allow the product to age for 24 hours and then test it. It doesn't say for a minimum of 24 hours or a maximum of 24 hours. It just says 24 hours. So the implication is this salt spray test applies to as plated product at the point of plating. Now, it turns out that with some of our newer coatings, especially the trivalent top coats, we don't have a feature called self-healing. The older coating, the hexavalent coatings, were self-healing. So as the fasteners would bounce around with each other during shipping and during processing, and they would maybe get scratched and that top coat would get damaged, it would self-heal. The trivalent coatings, as currently formulated, don't have that feature. So we end up with a situation where the product may have passed the salt spray test at the point of plating, but once it's been on the water, it's gone overseas, it's now on a truck, it's in a box, it's bounced around from here to there. By the time it gets to the end user who does that salt spray test, it may not pass. So the implication for fastener suppliers is to be aware that salt spray testing as a product qualification in terms of a finished product or a lot of product, a particular process lot, is often, and I use this word correctly, I think, abused by end users as a requirement. So be aware when that end user asks you for a salt spray test, tell them we'll be happy to do that at the point of plating. But if you're going to do it when the product hits your plant, it may or may not pass, and that's the risk that you have to take. Lots more needs to be communicated to the fastener industry about salt spray testing. So I think you can look forward to some more information on this from the Fastener Training Institute, the IFI, or even Fully Threaded Radio. It's a topic worth discussing. This has been Carmen Vertullo for the Fastener Training Institute and Carver Consulting, bringing you the Fastener Training Minute on Fully Threaded Radio.
This is Pam Berry with Advanced Components. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Back. I'm Gary Graham.
And I'm Andy Graham, and you're listening to us on Fully Threaded Radio.
And this is a new segment here on Fully Threaded, a little bit with the youth of the industry, you know, us guys in the bottom looking up and how we see it, our point of view.
Mm-hmm. You know, who we've learned from, our experiences, and how do we fit into the industry.
Yep. I'd like to start off by thanking Eric Dudas and Brian Musker for giving us this opportunity. It kind of came on a whim in Fastener Tech 2015, if Andy could tell that.
Yeah, well, actually, it's kind of a funny story. Gary and I, just a little bit about us. We both work for the same company, National Threaded Fasteners. We're located in Perry, Ohio. So we drove up to Fastener Tech. We rented a car. We got a little Sonata and drove up there. And on the way there, Gary had said to me, I would love to do something.
Yeah, we should get a podcast
going.
I'm a big fan of podcasts. Eric has a great show. You know, we could talk all day. Let's see what we could do together.
Right. So Gary was like, man, wouldn't it be crazy if Eric would give us like a segment or a spot on his show where we could kind of do our own thing? And I agreed with him. I thought that'd be great. You know, there's a lot of people in this industry, younger people coming in. Mm-hmm. We don't really have a strong voice yet.
You know, there's a lot of talent under there in the minor leagues of the fastener industry.
There is. So, you know, I thought it was a great idea. And the funny story being was, after we got there, it was the first day of the show. I was walking from booth to booth, and Eric came up to me, and actually he asked me the same thing, if we would be interested on doing a segment on his channel. So I had to relay that information back to Gary, which I already knew he would be okay with it because he brought it up to me. So that's how we got involved with this, and again, we really do appreciate it, Eric and Brian, for letting us be part of this.
And we are younger. I'll be turning 30 this month, and Andy is...
I'm 25. I'll be turning 26 in November.
And we're actually both fifth-generation fastener industry, so... Even though we're a little young, we've kind of been in this our whole lives. We've got Christmas pictures of us playing with our hex nuts and magnets.
I remember we were kids, man, making little things with the leftover nuts and bolts you find laying around.
Yep. We always had a place to ride our bikes in the winter in between racking in the warehouse. It was always something to do.
Rollerblading, skateboarding, yep, I remember.
But transitioning into the industry now, it's always fun to come across people that, I knew your dad. I remember when you were in diapers.
I hear that so much. Any of these events you go to, it's all these people remember me as a child.
So that's kind of where we're getting at. And how do you transition from the youth of the industry to a young guy and start taking over in a professional position? How do you move up the ladder? How do you see the industry, and where's our position? We're kind of struggling for this right now.
Right, and I agree with that.
But and it's not just us. It's not a personal thing. It's the youth in the industry. We're all kind of coming across this thing now where there's such a vast wealth of knowledge at the top of the food chain. You have people who have been doing this 50, 60 years. They've run their companies. They know everyone. They've been doing this since before computers, and they're holding all the knowledge. And then you got guys like us coming up. I've got Google. I could go on Fastener's Clearinghouse. I could find any fastener I want, but I don't have the knowledge and experience. I don't know who to call if a problem happens. So we're kind of in this weird turnover phase where the technology and the youth are coming up with one state of mind, and the experienced guys kind of have their own state of mind. Where do we meet in the middle? Where do we transition into this?
Right. I think that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
Being a young guy, and like I said, I work for my father's company. I actually started working, just a little quick story. I started working when I was in high school. After school, I worked in the warehouse. I started in the warehouse when I was 16 years old. When I graduated high school, my father offered me a position in sales. And one of my biggest challenges was, you move into sales, you're working with these experienced people on the phone, guys that are 35, 50, the journeymen of the industry, as we like to call them now.
Absolutely.
But, when I was on the phone and I was 18, I always felt like these older, experienced people didn't really listen to me. And now being 25 and doing this for so long, I'm seeing that I'm starting to fit in a little bit more.
It's the knowledge and experience. We're starting to prove our level.
Yes, prove my level. I'm feeling that now, and it's building my confidence. And I see where the youth and the journeymen need to come together and work with each other.
So something I've been working on is I look at this as I would any trade. We've got this experience at the top of the food chain, the journeyman, as we mentioned, the experienced tradesman, and I sort of look at us as the apprentice right now. I've got all these great ideas. I've got technology on my side. I've got ways of doing things that are completely against the grain of the older generation. But those guys know so much about fasteners. They could tell you the history. They could tell you where they came from. They could tell you the guy to call for this crazy fastener you've never heard of, and it's some drinking friend from the 90s. And we don't have that. You can't Google contacts.
Right.
You just can't do it. So in an industry where technology's coming up, where more and more things are changing, we need to start networking together. We need to do this in public. We're all on social media. We're all Facebooking each other. We're all LinkedIn. We're all Twittering each other. But where does that come in the real world? That's where some of these social events, the Fastener Techs, the Las Vegas show are really coming up. We have a chance to take our technology and show the other guys what we could do. We have a chance to talk to them and see what they think of it and think where we're going with this.
Right. It's everything from these online ordering, that's in response, I believe, to the youth.
Oh, yeah, that's a big transition. Matter of fact, that's something we deal with in our organization we work for with National Threaded Fasteners. There's always a potential for online ordering. We see a lot of our vendors going there, a lot of our customers going there, and that's going to take out some of the sales force. We have some people that have worked sales, that have been taking calls, that have worked customer service, and that role is going to be transitioning out to where sales is going to be a much more active position. And the order taking, that's changing. And some people are very hesitant towards that. They don't want to get involved. They don't want to lose their job. They don't want to lay off their friends. And where do we fix that in the middle? Well, where do we come around to that? And that's something we like to discuss here in the future of the show.
Right. Yeah, we don't want Judgment Day where the machines take over and now we're out of a job. We put ourselves out of jobs. And
Absolutely. This is not the time for it to be us against them. This isn't the millennials' take on what it should be now because we're smarter than you. We're better than you. This is, hey, sir, I have a really good idea. What's your take on this? How can we work towards it? I have a saying that compromise happens in the middle. If I came in and I walked into your company with the fastest computer, with everything programmed, with sweet spreadsheets and everything, and I asked to sell nuts and bolts, I couldn't do it.
Mhm.
I have no experience or knowledge. But if you came to me and you told me I have all this fastener experience, I could tell you specs on everything, but I just kind of sit in my garage and somewhere in Oklahoma, and I don't know how to get there. There's that go-between, that middle ground that we're just going to excel. But I see it every day where some companies are light years ahead. They're all online. They have no storefront. They have no fastener experience, and they're making it work. And I see on the other end of the spectrum some guy, he doesn't even have a computer in his shop. He's still taking card catalogs for inventory, and he's making it. So we're clearly in the middle of this transition phase, but where's it going?
Right. So you see that when you're out on the road. Gary does outside sales for a company. So
I do. I am the outside sales representative for National. And it's a beautiful benefit of getting to see every company, face to face, walk into place. I see places, there's automated warehouses. From the moment this package comes into the warehouse, it's scanned digitally, it's thrown on a conveyor, it's put into a location in the system. There's a computer that takes it there. And when they pull the order, there's an automatic arm that goes and gets it and sends it out the door.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. That's pretty cool.
I've seen a couple of those too. They're pretty neat.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. But then I go into places, and it's literally just a guy in a steel shed with some racking. He's had that location since the 50s, and he's servicing, the local farmers and the auto shops, and he's got a card catalog, and he's doing searches in DOS. And
it's doing smoke signals for a quote. But, our generation, we have information available at our fingertips now. Mm-hmm. I have a younger sister, younger brother, under the age of 16. All this information is there, so they have it at their fingertips, and that's how they want information now. Tying it back into the online ordering, I spend a lot of time, I'm in purchasing. I'm in charge of purchasing for our company, and, I'm in the office almost every weekend, and I can't pick up the phone, call, get a quote. I'm working on these big packages, and I want to get pricing immediately so I could just get it done. And that's where this online ordering is very important to people like us and myself.
And also, if I could follow that thought line of I want the information now, and I want it at my fingertips, it's also changing marketing strategies. We love Link Magazine. We love putting our logos everywhere. We love getting together at these big conventions. But like we've mentioned Google about a dozen times already, if you're not on that first page, if you're not on the top of the list, there's a good chance that if you don't know that company, you're not going to look any further.
I go to Google almost every time.
Yeah,
that Fasteners Clearinghouse, almost every time. When there's a fastener, we specialize in flange bolts. So we do get some quotes for some other things. I don't have all the sourcing I need. I don't know exactly where to go, so I go to Google.
Yep,
it's
you go
easy.
to Google, and there's that big disconnect that we have right now to where we have young people in these large companies and these cubicle farms, and they're just sitting there. They're working purchasing. They've gone to college. They have a business degree. They want more power. They want to do what they can. They don't know what they're doing, so they just use Google. We need to get the youth involved in the industry. We need to get the senior leadership involved, and we need to come together in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
We need to really start working together, and the industry's taken a great leap forward. Education is being pushed like in no other time. Absolutely.
Huge. It's very important.
Several companies I talk to run their own training schedules and their own training programs, and that's not including the Fastener Training Institute that does run, I think they're a couple of times a year now. They have full week-long classes, and you get a certification. And that, first of all, it sounds great. There's nothing like putting initials at the end of your name on a business card.
CFS.
But it's vital. These classrooms, not only are you getting the knowledge, you're getting the stuff you just don't know. We sell flange bolts. If I go even to a hex cap screw, I start getting a little lost to someone else. But if we're constantly learning, if we're constantly building, we're constantly working forward, it makes a big difference. And these classes, We're preaching education. You're going to have a PowerPoint. You're going to use technology. But that's networking at its finest. You're in a class with other fastener professionals, learning together, sitting next to them every day for the whole week. That's networking. It's a perfect example of the old and the new coming together.
Right. We're at the beginning of a transitional phase.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We're in I don't know. I know I talked to you a lot about riding the wave. I feel like the industry is at the peak of this wave right now where you could either get on board and you could ride it into the future and you could ride that pipeline and look sweet, or you're going to get lost in the whitewash and you're going to get towed under.
And I completely agree with you.
So, there's a lot of fun things looking forward to in the future.
It's important to stay focused and make sure you're on top of what's going on in your industry and adjusting to industry changes.
Mm-hmm.
None of us control the way it's going. All we can do is ride
Absolutely.
the wave.
And riding the wave. And being part of the fastener industry since childhood, we have a first-hand experience of seeing how things have changed. I remember being a kid and when they got the new computer in the office and they had to put the inventory on it, and there was one person that had one computer and they ran inventory all day. That was their job.
Mm-hmm.
Now every single salesperson at a desk can do it. And that's just one little thing of what's in the warehouse.
Right.
I don't know. And even just a little bit further, there was an actual card catalog, Rolodex index. Let me see, for my 3/8/16x1 grade 8 bolt, I've got 10,000 of those. Let me scratch this off on a card and put it back.
How often do you still see that on the road? Is that pretty common, or is that phasing its way out?
Yeah, it's definitely phasing out. It's almost a relic. It's almost sweet to see.
So when you go in there, it's like interesting. It's like going to a museum.
It's like taking a tour of the Amish town. You're like, oh, wow, they still churn butter.
Right.
But, they're making it. And you can't force technology on anyone. You can't force change, but you also can't 100% deny it. These companies, our grandfather sells fasteners in Pennsylvania. He's one of these old guys. It's just him. It's just his inventory that he has.
Works out of his home.
Yeah, he's not going to upgrade. He's going to ride this wave out, and it's a beautiful thing. He's happy every day. He wakes up. He does his orders. He still has his industry contacts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another funny thing about being on the road, fifth generation. I meet guys in states away, companies I never heard of. Like, I know your grandfather. And that's the beautiful thing about being a youth in the industry and getting together with the older guys. And they still know what's going on. They're still part of it.
Yeah, it's important. And, like our grandfather, he met, these contacts when he was a young guy.
Yep.
So it's important for us as young guys to meet as many contacts as we know, make friends in the industry. So, when I have children and they're working in the industry someday, once you're in, you're always in, especially fifth generation. We're going to have 6th, 7th, 8th. We're just going to keep going. But it's important. So, my kid someday, when he does join the industry, he's going to be hearing it. Oh, I knew your father, Andy. Your Andy was a good guy, and we did this, and all these stories. So it's important for us to be active with other people in the industry, especially our age at this point.
Now, I do try to get my son out of the industry. I'm trying to push him in any direction possible.
Well, we keep the nuts and bolts out of our home so they don't have them to play with.
Son, you should be an astronaut. Well, with my luck, he's going to sell NASA nuts and bolts.
The
margin should be pretty good on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
My son will be the first guy with his fasteners on Mars. I'd be pretty proud of that.
Absolutely, man.
We talked about things I see on the road and the transition. There really is a microcosm. We follow things like the Fastener Index, and we get these micro numbers. There's a whole feeling out there. And I think when we get together, like Fastener Tech or in October in Las Vegas, and we get these companies together and we force them to talk to each other, if I'm having a bad June, if I'm sitting in my office and I'm having sales are down, inventory's high, I'm so bummed. If we can get together and discuss this, you kind of realize that there is an industry trend.
It's going on everywhere.
Yeah.
That was one thing I learned being a young guy. Again, I started when I was 18. I thought everything was great. Everything's always great. And then the recession hit, right? Almost immediately after I got involved in the office, and everything went into the ground. And, we're still here. We're still strong. But that was one of the major things I learned. This industry, this happens. It's cyclical. It comes around.
And that's something we actually learned from speaking with the older generation. When we get down, this is the worst thing that's ever happened.
Absolutely.
Son, this has happened 4 times. Back in my day, we were up and down. And that's It's something you only get with experience.
And our company CEO, he told me, he said, look, this happens. This is going to happen. This isn't the last time it's going to happen. You just need to hold on and we need to adjust. And we pulled through. Everything was fine. But I've also got a lot of insight from talking to friends in the industry, seeing that the same thing was happening at all of these companies. It wasn't just ours. I feel like personally I was doing something wrong when it was beyond my control. But that was my novice mentality. So
absolutely. You just don't know what you don't know. And that's why, we really need to work together with the guys that know what they do know, so we can eventually know.
Right.
To take the longest way to say that. But it's all part of an intelligence gathering. For two crazy young guys, we really care for the industry. We really like it. We really enjoy doing it. It's hard to explain to your friends, well, I sell nuts and bolts. No, I'm not polishing Mercedes or doing high stock trays or something crazy, but it's a fun industry. We're related to everything. There's a term they use, it's just the nuts and bolts of it. That's because that's the basics of it.
Right.
This is a basic industry. We buy things, we sell things, we trade things. It's a fun thing. And if we can keep building the next generation, we could recruit our friends and we could tell them, oh, you just got out of college, you're looking for a fun industry? Fasteners. It's standard buying and selling. We're involved with every industry. They don't put a car together without a nut and bolt. They don't put a
medical.
Nothing. There's nothing that you could do that does not use nuts and bolts. And no matter how good technology gets, no matter how advanced Google is, if I could scan a picture of my fastener, it goes into the next website and it's automatically sent to my house. Great. That's beautiful. But there's still going to be some guy behind the scenes that needs to make the decision on when to buy. And it's really the beautiful thing.
Yes.
So we just keep that intelligence gathering. We keep learning from those guys. We keep giving them, one thing I like to touch on real quick, though, is that education works both ways. We need to learn from that generation. How do I network? How do I navigate this recession? How do I do this? Should I change my stocking levels? All this, sir. You're very smart, or ma'am. But did you know how to look up new fasteners? We're bringing in a new product line. Do you know how to set up a survey to see if our customers use that? Surveys are a very popular thing. I know in the industry now you're being constantly barraged by surveys. They only take a couple minutes, people, and they really help. Just get on there, take them. You know what? Take your lunchtime. It's still industry related. You can kind of get away with a little bit of slacking off. We're still working, still helping. It's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. And it's mutual. Then you could send us a survey and we'll fill it out for you.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably.
No, we will. We really enjoy helping. We really enjoy taking these. If we could all pool our thoughts together. You just brought up something of, well, I'm not going to take the survey. I kind of joked about that. There's an older mentality of, I don't share business secrets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell you if my company's doing good because I don't want you to know. Well, it's 2015. I know what your company's doing.
Right.
I can Google you. I could see what you're doing.
Facebook. Everything's online.
I could figure it out. So instead of trying to keep company trade secrets, now obviously if it's proprietary, if it's something really well, you want to keep your business secrets. But if we come together, if we work together, if we share the information, we share the knowledge, and that's something our generation does more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, you would take one photo of your family at the beach and you kept it unless you had some slideshow or projector. Now, the minute I take a picture of something, it's online. I know what every girl's toes colors are. I know what my buddy had for lunch. I've seen my friends' kids more times than I've seen my own.
This guy's new car, her new car, yeah, right.
So that information sharing, it goes the same with the industry. If we're sharing, we're a little down right now, but we started selling packages. We broke down our bulk quantities. We started selling packaging and it worked well for us. Or, we were just barely making it by on our storefront, so we switched our storefront online. It seems to work with us. If we could share and communicate this together, that's really going to help us in the
become
future.
Stronger together. I got a question for you, Gary. So how long have you been at National? So how long have you been in the industry, basically, is what I'm saying. I know he started at National.
Yeah, I've been here in the industry in this perspective about 4 years this time, and I did it a couple years in high school, but I was just packing boxes.
Packing boxes. Now, since you've been in, and again, you're turning 30 this year, what are some changes?
Thank you for bringing it up.
You're welcome. Gary, your cane's in the way. Can you move that? What are some changes you've seen since you've been in the industry?
Oh, man, just a few years?
Mm-hmm.
Well, like we said, I came in 4 years ago. That was the low of the low. We were still getting beat down. It was real nickel and dime. We were living paycheck to paycheck, not just as a person, but almost as an industry. We're living paycheck to paycheck. And I learned the industry from that struggle. I learned how to keep the books tight.
And so did I. I started 3 years before Gary did. So
we learned to work that at the hardest part of the time. We learned the industry. And now we're starting to ride this up. I'm starting to see it. Actually, the biggest change I've seen in 4 years is people smile now.
Right, yeah, we're starting to have fun.
Yeah.
These industry events are fun. You go to Chicago, people are high-fiving and handshaking.
That's probably the biggest change I've seen. And the acceptance, honestly.
Acceptance, okay.
It's
growing.
I was more of a technological person 4 years ago as well, and it just didn't happen. Just in the past few years, it seems that technology's really been accepted. I know Brian talks a lot about people laughed at him for coming up with or saying that the World Wide Web would be something. I know he didn't invent it. Al Gore did, so we'll keep that. But he was advocating it early on, and people laugh at you. But we're not putting the genie back in the bottle here. This technology is not going away. It's only going to proliferate more. We're going to have more and more uses for it. And that's the biggest change I've seen is the acceptance of it. We may not know how to use it. We may not know where it fits in. We may not know, is this even really worth it? But we're accepting the fact that we need to look into it. We need to research it. What can we do?
Right. Well, one of the biggest changes I've seen, besides smiling, I really like that. That is the truth. It's more fun now. We get to have fun, and there's business out there to get.
Yeah, absolutely.
But one of the biggest changes I've seen is you go into some of these meetings, the bigger distributors, you sit down at this board table with 6 other people. Me being a younger guy, you being a younger guy, it used to be all elderly people, older experienced
elderly
people.
They're going to appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, not like senior citizen, but
all the dinosaurs of the industry.
The experienced people, the people that we've learned from. But now you sit down at these board meetings, there's a couple young guys in there, even younger than us, straight out of college, and it's getting interesting now. I'm starting to feel like I'm more experienced than some of the I am more experienced than some of the novices in the industry, but I'm feeling more confident in just myself now.
Yeah, it was really hard. My first year on the road, I've got to sell a product. I've never been a salesman before. I don't know. I'm walking in, giving a sales pitch. Hey, how are you? And I got shut out. The old guys saw right through me. They didn't care. You're some other young guy. After a while, you're like, you know what? I'm not selling you anything. I just want to talk to you. Let me tell you what I have. Let me just tell you because that's my job. That's what I'm getting paid for. But what are we doing together? How could we work together? And when you start accepting the fact that we're different, but we're all working for the same goal, right, it all comes together. It's a great thing.
Right. Business is business and friends are friends. You can have both. You can be business partners and friends.
Yeah, we've heard all the stories growing up in the industry.
Yeah.
Did you know the Las Vegas show used to be in Columbus?
Yes. Well.
Yeah. Apparently that used to be quite a big deal. Yeah. So that's a good joke for all the old timers. All the dinosaurs again.
I'm from Ohio. Who the heck would come here?
Oh, man, it's a beautiful place. Get around a little bit. You'll want to come home.
Right.
But,
yeah,
there's a lot of good things happening. I know over at Stelfast, the young gentleman, Ryan Curtis, started the Young Fastener Professionals, and I think he's really got his heart in the right place. He's really trying to work to bring us together. He's
acknowledging the younger generation.
Absolutely. And he really wants to bring us together. He wants us to network. He wants us to work together. And I know some of the older generation that's threatened by that, but once you kind of, you have to be a salesman. It's still a sales industry. You have to tell them we're not taking over. I'm not going to take over. You've been doing this 40 years. I'm not taking your job tomorrow because I know how to use the internet. But I will be taking over your job in the future. And if you care for this company's future, if you care for your legacy, for how you're seen in the future, you will take that next generation. You will take those students, those young cocky guys that think they know it all. I mean, you may have to break them down a little bit. It's the industry. Give them some hard projects, give them some tough quotes, give them a couple customers you're not going to get. Let them get beat down. You have to be told no a few times. And then work together. Ryan's really pushing this 30 under 30, and I don't want to just say Ryan. There's great men and women over there at Young Fastener Professionals.
Tons of people involved.
Yeah. But they're pushing the 30 under 30, giving recognition for the under 30 crowd. It's a great thing,
And I'm actually a recipient of the inaugural class of the 30 under 30, and to me, that was huge on my part. The last 5 years I've been working in purchasing, I've just been working and doing all these projects and working on all these issues and making all these decisions, and you never sit down to think about what you've really done. So when I had found out that I won and it was submitted without my knowledge, my application, I had no idea this was coming. So when I saw the announcement that I had won this thing, I actually got to sit down and think, I'm like, wow, people are recognizing me. This is huge. I'm actually doing the right thing. It made me feel great.
Yep.
And it actually made me feel like I wanted to be more involved, that this industry is caring. And we do recognize the younger people in the industry and their work effort.
And if we want to joke and call the senior experienced people, if we want to call them dinosaurs or legacies, it's all in fun and games because we truly care. But at the same time, we're still kids to them. I walk in, you're just a kid. Like I said, people knew me when they were changing my diaper.
still get ID'd for cigarettes, and I'm 25, so yes,
well, you look like a child. So.
Thank you.
If we can see them as the older generation, they see us as kids. They knew us as babies. So what's the best thing to give a kid? A pat on the back. Give us a piece of candy. Just let us know. We need to give the acknowledgement to the senior leaders that their experience, help me. Please be the journeyman to my apprentice. But at the same time, they have to recognize that we are hungry. We're trying to learn. We're not just these snotty-nosed brats that know it all.
Right.
None of us do. And that goes for neither one of us knows anything. Maybe 50, 60 years ago when the industry had stayed the same, it was different. But we're changing now. We're
more rapidly
changing.
It's unbelievable. Even me 3 years ago, I never thought online ordering would take off. I just thought it was too much work. It's just so easy to send an email. It's just so easy to pick up the phone. It's taken off blowing up like wildfire.
Yeah, it has. I mean, no one goes to my MySpace page anymore, and I worked really hard on that. So thank you.
Just because you said that.
What? I think we're getting close to coming up with something and to working together, and I'm not pessimistic. I don't think where there's this big argument going on. I really think we're about to ride this wave into great times, both business, monetarily wise, profit wise, and both professionally.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all going to start getting along here. Can't we all get along? But it's going to be great. We're attending classes, we're pushing things out there at a record speed, things that just haven't changed. So
right,
it's really great.
Well, that's all the time we have for today.
And I hope you join us again next month when we talk about the Fastener Training Institute. I'll actually be attending next week. Andy will share his experience from the class a few years ago, and I'd like to thank Brian and Eric and
you, the listener,
and stay tuned for some more predominantly fastener-related radio.
Mick Jagger once said, "You can't always get what you want." Well, that's just not the case with Trinity Hardware Headquarters. You can get what you want, and you can get it fast. With over 30,000 varieties of fasteners and new lines of package clamps, carriage bolts, and plow bolts, you've entered Fastener Paradise. Trinity Hardware Headquarters also provides a long list of services to complete your fastener experience. New services such as custom packaging, kitting and polybagging, mill shipments, hold and release in pallet or quarter keg shipments make Trinity Hardware Headquarters your one-stop shopping destination. They also offer secondary services such as patching, machining, drilling, coatings and platings, and parts to print or industry standards. Mick also complained about not getting any satisfaction. He just hasn't yet come to Trinity Hardware Headquarters. And don't forget, you can order 24/7 online from TrinityHardwareHQ.com or call 888-232-1010 anytime. Trinity Hardware Headquarters for parts done right.
How do you make the top name in packaged fasteners even better? Combine it with one of the best-known names in the fastener business. Announcing that Titan Fasteners is now a proud part of Lindstrom. For more than 50 years, the Titan name has provided distributors with experience, technical expertise, and full customer support in every package that's shipped. for fastener needs in in-plant maintenance, industrial and construction, MRO and automotive, fleet, farm, building and grounds. Available by the box, keg, or pallet. Titan means packaged fasteners, and Lindstrom means choice, flexibility, and value. And together, we now offer more than 133,000 SKUs. For value-added fastener solutions in metric or inch, turn to Lindstrom and Titan Fasteners. To learn more about Titan Fasteners, visit titanfasteners.com. Lindstrom, by any measure. To speak with a sales representative, call 1-800-789-8112.
Harry, how's your search for new software going?
We've looked at a lot of systems, some with the same old technology, and others didn't seem like they knew much about what we did or needed. We did look at one company, crazy name though, I think it was InSqueakWell.
You mean INXSQL? That's InSQL. That's what we use. We've become much more efficient, and we've been able to offer our customers more services, which makes us more competitive.
Yeah, Inkswell, that's the one. They seem to be the only company that really understood what fastener distributors do for a living, and I found it easy to use.
Harry, it's InSQL, INXSQL. You don't pronounce the X. We buy a lot from several master distributors, and their direct connect simplifies the whole process. When we need pricing and availability quickly, we just hit the F12 key.
If you don't pronounce the X, why put it in there? A friend told me they get great support from NXQuell.
Yes, with InSQL, our experience has been the same. Quality support. They know our business. And the best part is, no extra charges. With our old system, apparently nothing we called about was covered by support.
You know, Inkwell seems to be the right company for us.
They're called InSQL, INXSQL. Go to their website, www.inxsql.com, or call them at 877-446-9775.
This is Don Shin from Solution Industries, home of Solution Man, and you're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric back with you on the online fastener Squawk Box.
Okay, right.
Got a message here from Vicki Lester, she of the Pacific West Fastener Association. Seems like every time I turn around, they've got another conference coming up, Bri.
Wow.
This time she was announcing their fall conference, which is September 30th through October 3rd. And this time they're holding it in Santa Ana Pueblo, New Mexico, which is a fantastic, beautiful destination. Hope a lot of you can make it out there.
Wow, that's an interesting place. I like New Mexico.
Oh, it's beautiful. I wonder if Andy Cohn has a big mansion out there where everybody's going to party again.
Well, you're going to find out. Okay.
It doesn't say anything about it here, but I wouldn't be surprised. They had a big time at the spring conference over at Andy's place, and I know that went really well, but that's coming up, so if you need further details on that, you know where to go. That's pac-west.org.
Yep.
And they always put on a good show. Thanks to Andy and Gary Graham for the segment. You guys sounded great. A lot of fun listening to you.
Right. Yeah, we've had dealings with Andy and Gary for a while, and I'm glad they agreed to try a little experimental segment. I mean, it's not easy, and we know that, and some people totally clam up whenever you get near a microphone, and that isn't going to work either.
No.
It's good, okay? Look for them coming back, actually.
Right. Well, they have great chemistry, and hey, don't be surprised if they're the future hosts of the show someday.
Yeah, this is when us old veterans or legacy people have gone, I can't say they have disappeared.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Come on, Brian.
Right, yeah. I mean, this is modern technology. We aren't meant to know how to use this stuff.
Right, I'm still figuring out what this right button on my mouse is.
Oh, yeah.
What do I do with this thing?
Well, some of the really bad sound we've had lately will indicate perhaps we don't know what we're doing, okay?
Don't let anybody know about that. Anyway, Andy and Gary Graham, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Also like to thank Carmen Vertullo. Your segment was quite interesting. And, of course, the Fastener Training Minute, always great. Jay Minichino chimed in on the Fastener News Report. That was driven, of course, today by Mike McNulty of Fastener Technology International. Thanks, all of you.
Yep.
The title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio are Stelfast. For service you deserve and people you trust, it's Stelfast. And Trinity Hardware Headquarters. Trinity, for parts done right. Also, Lindstrom and the Lindstrom family of companies, including Titan Fasteners. Lindstrom, by any measure. Fully Threaded is also sponsored by Buckeye Fasteners, Fastenal, InSequel Software, ND Industries, Solution Industries, The Worth Group, and Volt Industrial Plastics. Thanks one and all. We couldn't do it without you, and we couldn't do it without each and every one of you listening in, folks, so we do appreciate that again. And please, if your friends and business associates are not familiar with FTR, please clue them in. We keep getting new listeners all the time, and it's amazing. We're on episode 95 now, and we still keep running into people that haven't heard of it, so that's unbelievable to know, but it's true. So thank you for spreading the word.
Right, and it's also unbelievable to know that people who we run into who do know about Fully Threaded and do listen to it still have no idea that there's any connection between Fully Threaded and Fasteners Clearinghouse.
We do the best we can, but thanks for supporting FCH, folks. If you ever need a hard-to-find fastener part, or if your stuff's on the water and you got to do a fill-in, fastenersclearinghouse.com. That's the place to go. We'll try to help you out. If you're looking to move fasteners, give us a call, or you can sign up right online. We've got a great program. We'll make your phone ring.
Right. And if you think your fasteners are in such a bad shape that you can't possibly list them with us, well, try it anyway, because I'm sure you'll find the scrubber will make a pretty good job of working out what they are.
The scrubber is getting smarter by the day, thanks to Stelfast and Lindstrom and a bunch of other companies, among others. But you're absolutely right there, Bri. Hey, get with us anytime, folks. Our email address is ftr@fullythreaded.com. We're out there on Twitter under the handle Fully Threaded. So, as I was saying at the top of the show, Bri, we were a little melancholy this month. Well, I was more than you, I guess.
Right. And yeah, we'll rephrase that. You were a little melancholy, okay?
That's right. And Trouble of Thread just seemed appropriate, and I hope that's not the case. I hope there's success ahead from everybody, or for everybody. But as folks who have listened to the show for a while know, I've been a great fan of the Dead for the longest time, and they played their last live shows in Chicago over the 4th of July weekend with great fanfare. I didn't pay that much attention to it, frankly. For me, the whole scene kind of ended after Jerry passed, although I tune in from time to time. Hey, that's the beauty of satellite radio, man. You can get whatever you need when you need it, and they got a Grateful Dead channel out there. If you haven't heard it, folks, put on channel 23 and it'll make your drives go a little faster. It does for mine. But I tell you, the end of an era. It's kind of weird.
Actually, I was when the last show they put on was in Chicago, I was driving up from Dallas to Chicago on the day of that show. And I didn't really know the show was on, but I remember I was really noticing all these weird, like hippie type vehicles that were on the road that I was passing on my way through to Chicago. All these old Volkswagen Beetles with flowers and things stuck all over them.
And you knew you weren't in Kansas anymore.
I knew which state I was in. Because of the crappy roads, actually, but it was I didn't quite know what was going on until it dawned on me. It was something serious relating to music, okay?
Something big, yep. Well, yeah. we traveled the Golden Road for many years, and I remember in 1984 I did a swing down through the Southwest and saw a bunch of shows down there, and didn't even bring a pair of shoes. Those were free and easy days. and I miss him. But that time again, it's past. Times change. We got a lot of heads out there in the audience, and from time to time I'll get an email when we make a reference. And so to all of you, hey, I'm with you. I'm a little sad too, but rest assured, that may have been the last show for the Grateful Dead, but Fully Threaded will be back again with another episode, and next time we'll include an epic interview between Dan Zender of Trinity Hardware Headquarters and Mr. Bruce Darling of Porteous, and they're going to go down memory lane a little bit. You're not going to want to miss it.
Oh, it's going to be cool, because our first dealings with Bruce Darling were years ago, okay? And I got to know him. He was a really, really nice guy.
And he helped us out a lot, and he's a great guy. He just got back from a trip through Spain. I was talking to him earlier, and he's in good shape, sounds like, in good spirits, and it'll be a great interview. Can't wait to get him and Dan hooked up, and that's all in the works, folks. But for now, may not be the end of this era, but it is the end of the show, and that's going to put episode 95 of Fully Threaded Radio in the can.
Right. So we look forward to catching up with you next time, folks.
That's right. For Brian Musker, this is Eric Dudas. Get out there, sell some screws, stay on that golden road, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yep. Catch you next time, folks.
Fully Threaded Radio is a production of Fastener's Clearinghouse. Music provided by Audionautics.
Lay down, my dear brothers, lay down and take your rest. I want you to lay your head upon your Savior's breast. I love you, oh, but Jesus loves you the best. And I bid you good night, good night, good night. And I bid you good night, good night, good night. And I bid you good night, good night. Good. Walking in Jerusalem, just like John. Good night, good night. I don't know.